Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. I love working for the fans of the Carolina Panthers, and today I have for you the final injury report update prior to the Monday Night Football game versus the New Orleans Saints here in Charlotte at 7:15, as well as we're going to touch on some of the highlights from Frank Reich talking with the media today, and my man Brian Burns giving some updates on his contract status. I feel like this is like the 10 o'clock news. I don't know where you're watching, but if you're on the East Coast, it's, 10:15, and this is when the 10 o'clock news comes on. But I know some of you may be trying to watch that Colorado State game, so we'll get in, we'll get out, we'll make it informative, and have a lot of fun for this moment that we're here. So, as always, hit the like button, get in the habit of doing it, helps me out, expand the channel, helps other Panther fans find out about the channel. Bigger we grow. Yes, the more that I can do with you all, having players and coaches on the show. And subscribe. We're getting close to that 10,000 subscriber mark. We're giving away Panthers merchandise each week. In order to do so, shout outs to Sea Dog, who won some Panthers paraphernalia this week. So stay tuned to see what we're going to do for next week. All right, what's going on, Chris Johnson? I think you are almost always the first person to sign on, and I really, really appreciate it. So let's start with this injury report first, okay? Do I want to start the injury report? Yeah, let's start the injury report. Here we go. It's a quick one. We have wide receiver DJ Chark, who's been dealing with a hamstring injury. He was a full participant in practice today, and he is listed as questionable. So even though he's a full participant in practice, Coach Frank Reich said that he's probably going to be on some type of pitch count because it's only week 2, 17-week game season. So they don't want to just come out, run a guy too hard, and have him go right back on not being able to play in some games. So doesn't know yet, but says don't be surprised if you see Chark on a pitch count when playing this Monday night. The other injury that we have an update for you on, offensive lineman Taylor Moton. He's been dealing with a bicep injury. He was a full participant in practice. Now, something that's interesting, and I wish I'd have thought about this during the press conference, was to ask about the ironicness of Christensen being out with that bicep injury, and then Taylor Moton having one as well during the same week that Christensen suffered his. So it's just interesting. But nevertheless, there was no status for Taylor Moton, which means he is absolutely 100% going to play on Monday night. Now, with that injury to Christensen, there's who's going to play with the guards? And, I'm just going to tell you, and I don't get too opinionated on things because I just like to give facts for you all to decide how you want to feel about it. But I'm not against Frank Reich, but I'm against him trying to get a competitive advantage with not talking about certain roster things. Now, I get it during the preseason, not showing stuff, being vanilla. But every time this man has an opportunity to say, well, I don't know, because he's trying to gain some kind of competitive advantage, to me, it's almost insulting to the other coaches in the league, right? This is the NFL. And the players that he's talking about are the guard position. It's not like he's talking about a quarterback, a wide receiver, a player that's super dominant. He would not today say whether it was going to be Cade Mays on what side. He did say Cade Mays is going to start. He did say Chandler Zavala is going to start. But he would not say who's going to start where. Why? And for me, I get a little irritated with it because I feel like if you feel like in order for you to win a game that things are going to be so close that you need an edge that you're going to get by not announcing which side of the ball these guys running on, why? Anyway, I'll try not to be in my soapbox too much about that. I know he did it before in the season with like the returners and other stuff that it's not like we have a returner where we say, oh, you know what? yeah, we're going to let Tyreek Hill return punts this week. We don't have anybody like that on our team, where to me is something surprising. And what he needs to focus on is continue to get this coaching staff together, continue to make the best decisions, and most importantly is getting the coaching staff to maximize the guys that we have. We could say we want a guy at this position or we need depth here. It's pretty much what we're going to get, right? And at this point, it's just a matter of making the most of your guys. And that's what I feel like they need to focus on. And I personally will be making a lot of determination on where I feel like this team can go after this Monday Night Football game. They don't have to win for me to feel good about it. I want them to win by all means, because a Monday Night Football game means, I'm not leaving the stadium till probably 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I would like to have worked so long and have a lot of good positive things to report to you guys. But I just want to see some significant changes, improvements with the coaching, and utilizing the guys that they have to make the most out of it. All right, so continue to go on through this. Coach did confirm that Brady Christensen is out for the season. He also did confirm that J.C. Horn had a procedure, not a surgery. There's a difference. Had a procedure that went well, and with that, they are optimistic that he will return this season. When he says optimistic that JC will return this season, to me, that's a pretty big indication of how severe the injury is. And for me, hearing that, I feel like 4 games may be on the minimum side for J.C. Horn, not the high side, because he has to miss 4 with being placed on injury reserve. But the good thing is it opens up a spot on the roster for them, which they have not filled at this point. So just a few more things that we want to go through. I see some of the comments coming. Keep them coming. But if you're here, also do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you want to be like Chris Johnson, had that special that special badge by your name, you do have the ability now to join our channel and be a supporter. We're independent media supported by you all. So anytime that you're able to do that, it helps tremendously, and I appreciate it. And by the way, thank you all for always speaking to me if you see me out. I was out in Charlotte today at Carowinds, and someone spoke to me because they recognized me from the channel. So I always appreciate it. Everybody's always been super respectful of whatever I may be doing while I'm out, when they see me to speak, but allow me to continue to do whatever it is that I was doing. So I really, truly appreciate it and hope that I continue to meet many more of you. All right, so let's go ahead and get into Brian Burns' situation, where he played last week in Atlanta. It was a crazy week about what he was going to do. He's not talking to the media. Is he practicing? Is he not? He's on the plane. Okay, he's going to play. And then after the game, he spoke to the media and said he's going to play all season. So today, Burns was able to give us an update on just where exactly this contract situation stands.
I would probably say it's on hold. We haven't really been in talks because I already told him, like, once the season starts, like, I'm all about ball. Because I can't give 1,000% on the field and to my teammates if I'm still worried about contract negotiations and whatnot. And I feel like I owe that to them, to be 100%, 1,000% balled in at all times, because at any point, something bad can happen. So, like you said, if it made sense to, after conversations with my team and whatnot, if that's what makes sense, then we'll cross that road once we get there. But as of right now, I'm all for my teammates and my coaches.
So that was Burns on where the contract situation stands right now, on hold until it changes. And could it be put back in motion, possibly during the bye week or so? It could, if it makes sense for both sides. But right now, he doesn't know, and he's just trying to really focus on ball and not get too distracted and emotionally drained by, am I going to have a new contract? Am I not going to have a new contract? So I got some more video, but again, members on the channel get special shout outs and immediate recognition. So I got to shout out Quentin. He joined the channel, and there's that little verified badge by his name, that little gold seal. Quentin, what's up with you? Appreciate you tuning in and also being a member of the site. All right, so Quentin's calling me out. The background is not blue, it's just white. And I got on, I don't know what color to call this shirt, but Quentin wants to know where is the blue light. So late night, I didn't feel like setting up the blue light. But if you're gonna call me out on it, Quentin, I will make sure that I have the blue lights going next time. Definitely will have it for the next show, Quentin. I appreciate you paying attention to detail there with noticing that there is no blue light in the background. Thumbs up, keep them coming, keep them coming. I like it, keep them coming. Furthermore, about Brian Burns, it's week 2. He doesn't have a new contract. And I want to hear from you all as well about this. Is this now becoming something where it's not looking good for the Carolina Panthers in terms of this negotiations? Because you have a guy that hasn't missed any time. He's played in the game. Now he's saying, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to focus on football. Did that just make the price higher? Because I'm just trying to imagine whatever the negotiations were, basically it's not enough for Brian Burns. And I feel like it's like a relationship. If you wanted to get back with somebody, at first you're going to be like, man, I'm just making up something, right? If they just apologize, we could get this thing going back together, right? I want to get back into it. And then they don't apologize after 1 week, and then they don't apologize after 2 weeks. It's like after a while, you're just going to be like, I don't even care. I don't even want to play with you guys anymore. It's going to take a whole lot because you took forever to come around and patching this thing up. So are the Carolina Panthers making this Brian Burns contract even more expensive? Or are they just saying, you know what, we can't afford it. He's playing, that's great. By him playing, that's going to increase his value because he's playing lights out. And could there be a trade for Brian Burns, and how would Burns feel about a trade?
I ain't think about it too deeply. That's my story. That's my story. I can't really control that. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that one.
All right, so that was Burns talking about if he was traded. How would he feel about it? Let me play that for you one more time. Brian Burns on how he would feel about being traded during the season.
I ain't think about it too deeply. That's my story. That's my story. I can't really control that. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that one.
So you notice, at least I noticed how much he paused doing that question about his thoughts on being traded during the season. And to me, it's like that relationship, right? You wanted to get back together, you just wanted an apology, and you hadn't got it. And the more it goes on, the more you're just kind of like, that wasn't what I thought about. That wasn't what I felt like would happen going into this. But at this point, whatever gets me into a better situation. And for me, that's what Brian Burns is saying. He can't control it. He wants what he wants. Whatever gets him to a better situation. He does recognize that it's a business of football that he's in. And he can't control it. He's just going to go with whatever happens. So that's your report. That's your update for tonight with the Carolina Panthers as they prepare for the New Orleans Saints. What's going on, Tyrone Green? You will be at the game Monday night. Hey, be sure to make sure that you set your notifications because our pregame show Monday night, 5:15, it's already on the alerts if you have not seen that, so you can set a reminder. But pregame shows for our home games are really, really special. They're always special, but it always includes my co-host, Andre Cassidy, and then it always includes Rashad from Panther Nation Podcast. So it's a pretty darn good show is what I'm just going to say. It's a live show. It's an interactive show. You got three very educated people talking about the game with you. So make sure you tune in and support that show because we put a lot of work into it, and I think you'll enjoy it. I'm not sure, Carson, what your comment is on that one, so I'm sorry I can't comment back on that. And then the Mad Chatter saying, oh, you guys are talking in the comments about Frank Reich not calling plays. We'll see. We'll see. B Stallion says, what's up, Chris? I just want us to be competitive in the game and have a chance at the end. Well, one thing at a time. Let's keep pounding. Yeah, you want us to be competitive. You know, we were competitive in Atlanta. That game wasn't lost until the final moments. And to me, it wasn't like a very uncompetitive game. It was a disappointing because you want them to win. It was disappointing because Panther fans were kind of are being conditioned to, oh, here we go again. But if you remove a little bit of that emotional part of it, it was a competitive game. Now, this game against the Saints, it's a Monday night football game. We got we don't have J.C. Horn. We don't have Brady Christensen. We got some new people on the line. It's going to take some coaching. To me, we're going to see really quick if we have some coaching that's going to help us make it through these tough times. We're going to see real quick. The Matt Chatter says he's seen me once but did not want to bother me. So if you saw me once and did not want to bother me, I'm going to assume that I was probably rushing on game day to get somewhere. So I will say this. Yeah, game days is really the most hectic times to see me because we're trying to do so many things on a deadline. We don't have a team of like 12 people, so Andre and I are just carting around this big old cart of equipment and cameras and microphones and trying to do a show, set it up, go inside. So yeah, if you see me on a game day, it's probably just a quick, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you kind of thing because we're trying to make some deadlines. But nevertheless, you can always wave. You can always say, hey, Chris, Charlotte Vibe, man of the people. Again, because I love to try to meet everybody, honestly, if I could. All right. Matt Chatter says, if I'm Burns, I say I'm the best. Give me $30 million. Yeah, it's crazy. I can't blame the Panthers saying you're great at edge, but not all over getting runners here. 23. So, Chatter, I feel like I'm confused, and I'm going to give you a chance to reply before I get out of here. I said earlier, the question I want to present to everybody was, with the current talks situation with the contract, are the Panthers putting themselves in a worse position because Brian Burns is probably going to get scorned as this goes on and say, well, now I want what I want because I done set through all this? Or maybe are the Panthers trying to get themselves in a position to say, you know what, Burns has played pretty good. His stock's going up. We don't want to pay him all that money. Who's going to give us the best trade options to replace him? That's my question. I got you, Mason, since you're on here, and I'm waiting for the Matt Chatter to respond. Mason wants to know any news with Brian Burns that just got here. So Brian Burns spoke today to the media saying that, well, he's already said after the game against the Falcons that he's going to play the season out. Said this today that the contract talks are on hold until something changes. So that's the latest on the Brian Burns contract. I played some video earlier which had him saying a little bit more. I'm going to give you about another minute to respond to Matt Chatter before I get off of here and get ready to enjoy my evening. Not worst at all. Brian is great at edge, and we can build him up, but we have a lot of holes. Man, you didn't answer the question. I'm going to give you one more chance. Are the Panthers putting themselves in a position, your opinion, this is an opinion question, are the Panthers putting themselves in a position to trade Brian? Or do you think that the Panthers are putting themselves in a bad position because the price for Burns is only going to go up? Because he's going to be a scoring guy and he's not going to want to take less. All right, Chatter. Hey, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Catch us 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday for our pregame show. It's live, it's interactive. We share a lot of information to get you ready to watch the game. We'll also have a few more interviews that we haven't played yet to, again, get you ready for the game and let you know what the players are saying and thinking as they get ready for their home opener on Monday night. Back-to-back division games, so we're getting them up in front of us pretty quick. So we'll see where we go, and always will be live again post-game after that Saints matchup. So I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe. Thanks everybody for watching.